I'm very excited to be here because I love working with amazing voices, and I know that's what I'm going to hear today. Our topic today is MythBusters for Singers. A myth is BS. It is a belief system, and it's a belief system that is not based in fact. Now, we have a lot of voice teachers here, and what I ask of you is just to keep an open mind and a willing spirit about everything I say, because usually what I say is kind of wacky and outside the box as far as vocal training goes. And I know how we can all get, oh, what's she saying? Because I do the same thing. But anyway, so when I was developing Sing Like You Speak, which is the contemporary vocal technique that I developed and wrote, I set out to dispel the myths of singing, and particularly of teaching singing. So we're going to run through a few of those today. As I work with the singers, I'm sure that we will uncover other myths. But where do myths come from as far as when we're talking about our singing? Okay, thank you for your answers. They come from a thought. And that first thought can be when we're about this high. And somebody says, what are you doing? Be quiet. Stop singing. And we immediately get that, oh, well, maybe this is a bad thing. And it continues on from there, but that seed is planted and it becomes a myth. I'm not much of a singer. I should be quiet. And then some of us fight the whole rest of our lives to overcome that myth. I would be one of those. So we're going to go through this, see what we can come up with. I'm hoping that the singers will surprise me as much as I surprise them with my feedback, but let's take a look at the first myth. And I hear this all the time from my students, and that is that singing is really difficult. It's something totally outside the norm. And if I am to be a great singer, I have to do something weird and interesting and different with this instrument of mine. When in truth, this is, you have the perfect musical instrument, and always have. We are born into it. So then people say, well, Sally, then why do I sound like this? Well, it's because you developed bad habits over a lifetime. And our job as singing teachers, as we know, is to dispel those habits, to get rid of those habits and replace them with healthy, natural habits. But in that process of someone thinking that they have to do something weird and different and other than, what happens is you begin to use your body in a way that isn't natural. And it's kind of like when I look at this keyboard, you know, I can see that those keys look kind of like my fingers, and yeah, I could use my fingers to play this, but it's not going to be good enough if I just use it normally. So what I think I will do then is I'll play it with my nose and my elbows. And it just doesn't work really well. This is what happens with singers who have that idea that singing is difficult. I have to do something other than what is natural with this body to make a great sound. Okay? Okay? You with me?
Yes.
Okay, this is the audience participation part when I ask you a question. Just jump in. All right. So, there is another myth that, and before I get to this myth, I want to separate out your brain from your mind. Now, the brain takes care of everything, right? It keeps your heart beating, all those good things. But what is the mind? The mind is that thing that churns and churns and churns. And it says, oh, here comes the high note. Watch out, danger, danger, danger. And that danger goes in your body. So these thoughts coming from the mind have a physical response in your instruments. And that's the toughest thing for us to catch in the moment that, uh-oh, this is BS. This is a belief system that doesn't serve me, and to let that go. Because the brain we need, the mind kind of messes things up. It messes up this beautiful instrument that we all have because it thinks it knows more than the body. And that is a myth. Our bodies are much smarter than our minds. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, good. I'm going to give you my analogy anyway, because I like to tell it. It's my carrot analogy. Now, when you eat a carrot, you chew it and you swallow it, and then you forget about it. But this incredible instrument digests it, takes all the nutrients it needs, and gets rid of the waste. You don't sit there and think, I gotta digest this carrot. And yet, when it comes to singing, I gotta do something to make this fabulous. When the instrument is perfect to begin with. All right. So, another myth that I'm sure we all deal with is breathing. There are so many myths around breathing that you have to take in this enormous inhale to sing a phrase this long. Right? Okay. We are going to dispel that myth with the simple truth that all we really need is a very simple but precise opening inhale. And that's it. That's my inhale. Did you see it? That's it. That's all I do. It's very precise, but it's simple, and it opens this instrument. And the purpose of that is so that then this brilliant instrument will take over and do what it knows how to do so much better than my mind to produce the sound, to produce a great sound, because it means that I am out of the way when I have done that simple opening inhale. Now this is something that a lot of us just don't trust. No, we just don't trust that a simple inhale is going to do it, and that the body will take over. Let's do a little experiment with everybody, though, okay? That's audience participation. Okay, good. Sit with your feet flat on the floor. Nice and straight, like all good singers should be. And we're going to do my simple opening inhale, which begins with releasing the root of your tongue. And as you do that, it's going to drop your jaw, open your resonators, really let it go, very good. And then feel as though you are opening this instrument all the way to where you're sitting. Now, we're going to get that simple opening inhale, and then do a little bit of a V, like this. And what I want you to notice is what muscles are working. Do not work those abs. Let them do their own thing. This is the hard part. Let them do their own thing. Release the root of the tongue, open all the way to where you're sitting, and do a V. Yeah. That was good. And you feel muscle working, correct? Now, this time we're going to do a bumblebee. Bzzz. Go ahead. Do you feel different muscles working?
Yes.
Yes, because your body is smarter than your mind. Let's do an M this time. Release the root of the tongue, open to your bottom. Different muscles again, right? Now I feel, when I do the M, like it pulls in, it pushes down, it pushes out. I don't care what this does, because it knows better than my mind. So I'm going to let it do that. And in training this over a period of time, it makes it so easy, not difficult, but so easy for us to sing. All right. So we'll look at that again. And this is the one you're all going to just scream at before. But, okay. There is one voice. A speaking voice, singing voice, one voice. I do not distinguish at all between the two. I work with corporate types, training their speech and presentation skills, and I use the same exact technique that I use with singers. When we speak in everyday conversation, we speak on pitch. You're all aware of that, correct? All right, because I saw Janet, and they love Janet, and I said, Janet! Now, I didn't calculate that Janet needed to know that I was happy to see her by hitting a specific pitch. That response comes from what I need to communicate and my emotional content. And isn't that what we should be doing when we're singing? Responding to the music, responding to the need. When I write a song, I put certain words on certain pitches from a specific interval because it highlights that word. And that's the way composers write. So I want to do another little demonstration for you here. So to go further with this, ooh, those three pitches are in tune. I'm just going to do a little demonstration, okay? So this, I'm going to use the words shopping trip. I hate to shop. And the worst thing is going to the grocery store. So if I'm going on a shopping trip to go to the grocery store, it might be a shopping trip. Shopping trip. Shopping trip. Now, I do like my clothing. So if I'm going way up Broadway somewhere, I might be going on a shopping trip. Shopping trip. Shopping trip. And there are those of us who are partial to Soho also. And so if I go to Soho, it might be a shopping trip. Shopping trip. And to Paris with someone else's credit card, that would be a shopping trip. A shopping trip. All of those are shopping trips. But I feel differently about each one. So my expression takes me to a different pitch level. Okay, you're nodding. This is good. This is good. I like this. All right, and please feel free to ask questions as we go along if you would like. All right, so I have one more myth that I would like to dispel. And then we're going to get the singers up here, and I'm sure a lot of other myths are going to bubble up. And this myth, well, we all know that we sing on the vowels, right? Well, part of the sing like you speak technique is before we go into the music, after we've done all the vocalizing, I wrote a series of phrase exercises. And one of my favorites, the lyrics are, yes, I sing on the vowels, but I get paid for the consonants. Because consonants define our language. And they're so much fun to play with, and we'll do some of this playing today, with playing with consonants to define rhythm, to define your phrasing, to play around with the phrasing. And they're the action of our words. I actually fired a voice teacher of mine many years ago because she kept saying to me, oh, that's right, your music is lyric driven. Well, isn't all music lyric driven? Okay, here's the $64,000 question. What is the purpose of our singing?
To communicate.
She's been in my workshops before.
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, good. Exactly. Exactly. And if we do not communicate with clear language, what's the point? Now, I have a lot of singer-songwriters in my studio, so I go to a lot of singer-songwriter nights. And I like to watch the audience because they are my barometer as to the singers that are on the stage. And usually it's in a bar, so everybody's got a drink, and people we're polite for about the first 16 bars of the song. And then you see people shifting in their chairs, drinking their drinks, joking with the person next to them, because that person on stage has stopped communicating with us. It might be a great voice. It might be this fabulous, glorious instrument, but if you're not saying anything to me, I really just don't care. And consonants are our key to that. So I actually train with the consonants. And we may or may not get into that today. We'll see how it goes. But being of an advanced age, I came up through the time, you'd be surprised, came up through the time studying with classical people who said, oh, no, that's a consonant. Downplay that. Or just don't do it at all. And then you get into the song, and what on earth are you supposed to do if you don't have facility with those consonants? So we are going to go with the fact that yes, you sing on the vowels, but you get paid for the consonants.